emotional, guys, okay? Because I'm committed to this. Little kids need to be able to breathe clean air. They need to be able to access swimming pools. They need to have lifeguards there who are going to teach them how to swim. And they need to have activities. I don't know what we're going to do for a couple, 3 months. I'll call universities. I'll call other places.
So we have to talk about Massachusetts today, specifically Roxbury, where the governor, Democrat Maura Healy, has decided to close a rec center that's used by hundreds of children and adults every single day in Roxbury, right outside of Boston. And she's closing it so migrants have a place to go, because they've been camping out at Logan International Airport, and that's not acceptable. I don't think it's acceptable. I don't think it's acceptable that they're even in our country. But if you listen to these people, they're here legally. Okay, I understand you're trying to get a point across, but I'm pretty sure no one believes you. But in that clip, she's crying, she's overwhelmed. She sees kids that need to breathe clean air, that need to swim and have lifeguards so they can be taught how to swim. They need activities and toys. And it's going to be for a few months. Okay, so for the few months, what do the local residents do? You know, the tax-paying residents of the city who rely and depend on these rec centers for their children to go to after school to keep them off the street. Apparently, Maura Healy or Michelle Wu could care less. They're more concerned about, look what we did. We put all the migrants up in this nice rec center so the kids would have plenty to do and they would be nice and cozy and comfortable until we find better accommodations for them. I guess you get what you vote for. I don't know what the demographic is of that area, but if these people voted for Healy or Wu, now they're getting exactly what they voted for, which is a politician who could care less about the residents they supposedly serve because they care more about, look at us, we're saving the migrants. People are fed up. People have had enough with this woke nonsense where these politicians just try to make themselves look good in the hopes that people will vote for them again and keep them in office.
Migrants that were sleeping at Logan Airport are beginning to arrive at a Roxbury rec center, which will now serve as a temporary shelter. It's a situation that's causing concern within the community. Governor Maura Healy and Boston Mayor Michelle Wu stopped by to see it for themselves. Our NBC 10's Carla Rojo joining us live there in Roxbury to explain. Carla, good evening.
Yeah, that's right. So actually moments ago, a bus full of migrants did arrive here at the center. A few of them got off, but then someone who works here at the complex did tell them to get back in. And it seems that they drove around the building. So the state expects that 75 individuals will be arriving today. Some of them are children, around 20 of them. And of course, just being here today, we saw some protesters not being happy about this plan.
They say they work for the people. Nobody in Roxbury asked for this.
The Melnia Cass Recreational Complex is being used as an overnight temporary shelter, and people in Roxbury like Sean Nelson are expressing frustration with this plan.
Now our kids are going to leave out while their kids are getting all these resources off our tax dollars.
Today, Governor Maura Healy and Boston's Mayor Michelle Wu toured this center that has the ability to accommodate 400 individuals or about 100 families. Cots, baby strollers, and toys were in place, ready to welcome the migrants. Many of them were just sleeping on the floors of Logan International Airport.
We come to this site, first of all, it is temporary. We will be out before June. It is important to have this site available to the community.
Governor Healy says she understands the concerns, but with the lack of housing during this crisis, this center was the only solution, reminding people that these migrants have arrived legally while reassuring the community that rely on this complex that they are not alone.
We have been working hard with the city, with others, over the last several days to relocate programming. We've been successful with some. We have a few more that we are working on.
Mayor Wu talked to us about her trip to D.C. on Tuesday and meeting with officials from Homeland Security on this topic, while she continues to call on the federal government for assistance.
We shared with them some of the, not only the direct costs that can come from wanting to provide services to families like shelter, but also, again, staffing up on the school side and the extra resources that are needed for everyone to have all of the support.
And then, of course, they had to have their media tour when they went and viewed the rec center. You saw Healy, you saw Michelle Wu, you saw all the cots, and they're just so happy that they're able to kick the local residents out, because that's exactly what this is. And then the governor says they hope to be out of there by June. Well, in the meantime, again, what do the locals do? Where do the children go after school? They're not going there because the Boston police will be stationed outside to keep local residents out. And Michelle Wu is the same way. She cares more about taking care of certain groups of people than she does of the citizens of Boston. If you recall, just this past holiday season, Michelle Wu hosted a holiday party for council members of color only. Yes, that's right. An invitation had gone out to the entire body, which included white people, but then it was quickly redacted, and they said it was just a mistake. But it wasn't just a mistake. She had a holiday party with just members of the council who are people of color. And if that's not racist, I don't know what is. But she defended it and said, I still had a party with everybody and everybody celebrated. No, what she did was let the people know how she feels about white people. After all, she's Asian, I think. I don't know what, I don't know if she's Hawaiian, Filipino, Chinese, Japanese, but that doesn't make a difference. What matters is she wasn't willing to celebrate with the entire body, including the white people. Oh no, they weren't invited to their special gathering. So this doesn't surprise me at all. They don't care about the residents of Roxbury. It's a lower income area. So let's displace them and tell them they can't use their rec center so we can take a bunch of migrants out of Logan Airport and put them in there. Because after all, like Healy said, they need to breathe clean air and learn how to swim and have activities and toys. The local kids, they can fend for themselves. But what gets me the most about this, why do they always choose the lower income neighborhoods to do this, put the migrants or nonsense? It's all nonsense, but why the lower income neighborhoods? There's plenty of wealthy neighborhoods in Massachusetts, and I'm pretty sure a lot of them have nice, big, fancy rec centers. Why doesn't the governor go to, let's say, Newton, Massachusetts, where it's a very wealthy area, and say, we are closing your rec center to take migrants out of the airport and house them there? You know why? Because those people will make sure that Maura Healy never gets elected to another office again. So she's appeasing them by not disrupting them, so they continue to vote for her, because they'll be like, oh yeah, she went to the poorer neighborhoods, so we're good. We got to put her back in office. These people are hypocrites. They claim that they care about everybody. They care about the well-being of all the residents in the entire state of Massachusetts, this specifically in Roxbury outside of Boston, when the reality is they don't care. They're trying to make themselves look good to the rest of the Democrats who believe that all these illegal migrants should come to our country and live for free. And they know that if they do this, all the wokes, the liberals, they'll vote for them again. And what makes you think it's going to stop? It's not. These politicians welcomed this. They advertise this. You are all welcome here. We are a safety net for you. But they never said, once you're here, we're not going to know what to do with you. Oh, they never said that. You know why? Because they didn't realize how overwhelmed they were going to be. So now, let's go to the lower income areas and tell those people you can't use your rec center for the rest of the winter and maybe into the summer because we need a place to put the migrants. And that's okay. That's okay to these politicians. But they always preach. They preach about crime. If the kids had something to do after school, if they had somewhere to go, maybe we could keep them out of trouble. Well, that rec center was doing just that. People were using it every single day to play basketball, to swim, whatever other activities they offered, they were in that rec center. But not anymore, because the safety of the local residents is not important to these politicians. The safety of the illegals is more important. And they'll tell you they were here illegal. They're here legally, so we need to help them. We all know what that means. It's bullshit. You know it, I know it, they know it. When is this going to stop? And when are these people who are elected by the people going to start taking care of their communities first? Putting the money to the local communities instead of spending millions upon millions of dollars to house people who do not belong in our country anyways. If they want to come here, you do it the right way. There is a right way to do it. Not coming over the border by the thousands so you can't be noticed or you can't be tracked because the Border Patrol and the local agents in those areas are so overwhelmed. These Democrats are frauds, they're failures, and they care not about the people who put them where they are. All they care about is, I need to look good so everyone can vote for me because, after all, like I always say, this illegal immigration thing is all about votes because voter ID is racist. This is such nonsense, and these people now have to figure out what to do with their children after school because they're not allowed to use the rec center that they pay taxes to have. And it's all the fault of the governor of Massachusetts and the mayor of Boston. Remember the next election cycle. If you're from that area, vote them out. They don't care about you. They care about themselves. And they think they're making themselves look good just to get more votes.